right, Jordan. At this point in your, at this point in your career, what do you think the next step for your game is?
Probably just keep improving my game every year. Sounds very repetitive, but that's truly how I feel. I'm in a great organization that preaches the same message and has the same ideology. So it makes it easier for me every year to come back in here and just keep, like we say all the time, 1% better. And truly, I just gotta keep grinding at my weaknesses and keep improving on them. So that's the goal.
Early in your career, it was like a lot easier to see the progression because you started off with a really low baseline. Is it harder to find those improvements now?
No. Yeah. Coach Stout loves to remind me every day in passing as well, and even when we're golfing. So, it's pretty easy to know what you need to clean up. But in saying that, the room that I was brought into had a high standard. I was very thankful enough to train with Jason Peters, Lane Johnson, Brandon Brooks, Isaac Selmalo, Halapuluvati Vaitai, Chance Womack. Like those guys set the ceiling. Stefan Wisniewski, it'd be a crime if I didn't mention Steph or Wiz. Those guys set the standard, and it's pretty easy when you're chasing greatness, and that's kind of the mindset that I go in with every day, is just chasing greatness. And when you get to when you get to play alongside with Lane and Kelce, you're forever chasing greatness. So, yeah.
Do you feel like with a couple of younger guys in that room, specifically Cam and Tyler, that you are now part of setting that standard?
Yeah, the goal I think for young guys should be trying to achieve that standard, and when you get to that standard, keep chasing like Kelce. So I feel like I haven't got there yet because Kelsey's forever pushing the standard boundary. Every year comes back, he's pushing it more and more. He wants us to get more out of drills, wants us to get more better at watching film, wants us to be more football and fundamentally sound. So, for guys like Cam and Tyler, it's a great situation for them to come into the room because there are things that I can, try and tell them, like, hey, this is what helped for me, and if it doesn't work for you, well, good luck finding your own way, So whatever works for the guys, truly, I think they've come into a great locker room and a great O-line room where the culture is still intact from the day that I stepped in. We all have a standard in there. It's very high because of Coach Stout, because of Kelce, because of Lane. And now Landon and I are trying to emulate and reach that status so that young guys can hopefully see us the way I saw the locker room that I came into.
And left tackle specifically, who's there behind you, looking at you the way you look at Jason?
I don't know. You trying to find out the depth chart, mate? Because I'm not telling you the depth chart. We got a couple undrafted guys, and even the guys who were with us last year. We got Rod. We got Fred. So those guys, I'm not sure. They've been in the league probably the same amount or even longer than I have. But we're always trying to find ways to sharpen our game, and even if it's just learning something from them that they do really well, and something that I struggle at, I'm going to take that advice. But if the guys choose to look up to me, that's cool. But I can't answer that one. That's right now it's OTAs. We're not allowed to spend more than whatever allotted time that we have here in the building. It's kind of weird, to be honest. But yeah.
What does it say about Kelce? You mentioned that he's always kind of pushing the standard boundaries, that here he is going into year 13. He could have easily walked away many times and stuff, that he's not only back, but, doing that.
He's a legend. It just shows that, to me, he's a legend. And the legend of Jason Kelce is forever going to live in these hallways. Hallways. Sorry. Hallways. And it's not even like myth anymore. People talk about myths, and the legend of Jason Kelce is going to be a real story. One day his picture's going to be up here on the walls, and you know, like me, like the young cats walking into this building was not going to know who he is, and then they're going to find out who he is, you know, later on. But he's just a legend, man. I have so much respect for Kelce. He's the epitome of a football player and a true leader and captain.
You mentioned those golfing games, Jordan. Does Stout ever take it easy? Is he always on you for all 18? Can't be on you for 18 holes.
He's on for 18 holes. Dude, it's impressive. And the way he coaches us in golf is a little bit different, but still the same energy, you know? Still the same energy. Keep the guy in front of you. Stare at the guy in front of you. Stare at the ball. Follow through. See what you're hitting. See what's coming at you. It kind of translates over from football to golf. Not really. But I get the gist. You'd have to ask the fiance on that one. It's going good. It's going good. Thank you.
Translate into which language?
Sorry. Australian.
We'll take a couple more for Jordan.
Landon's wedding was a blast. Have you guys got a chance to speak to Landon? It was awesome. No, it was just a great time. It was a great time. Very beautiful scene that they set up there down in Carolinas, South Carolina, the Carolinas. But yeah, truly beautiful moment to be a part of, and I was honored to be his best man. So that's my brother.
We'll take one more.
Jordan, you mentioned Australia. So have
I got you, Chris.
seen
I got you.
growth in football, American football there since you started playing? When you go back, you talk to people, is it now more of a thing? Do they stay up to watch you play, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I think it's definitely grown over the last 6 years. It is a goal of the NFL to expand down there. I know that for one because I joined a program in which the whole purpose was to bridge the connection from Australia to America. So I can vouch for that. And it kind of helps when the Philly Eagles have the marketing rights now down there. So that's also a plus. But I definitely feel like especially if you make the Super Bowl, that's all the news outlets down there are going to talk about. So it's kind of nice just to get for me, the awareness of what the sport is about. And for those folks down under who didn't really understand what the Super Bowl was, give them a chance to really get their eyes on it. And then if they haven't heard of it, well, then we truly are living under a rock. So.
Last one here with Chris.
Well, that was what I asked about the marketing. Well, you mentioned that you were Landon's best man.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
You haven't known him for that long. How much does that relationship mean to you?
It's quality, mate. It's quality time over quantity. It means a lot, man. It's tough because for me, my family's back home in Australia. They're about 20 plus hours away, and for me, it's all about just finding people that I can connect with here and really build my circle of trust. And Landon, back in 2021, like you said, we haven't known each other for that long, but I feel like the man knows me like the back of his hand, and I know him like the back of mine. And it's just every time we get together, it's just that quality time over quantity, and when you spend all the hours that you spend in this building during the season, during OTAs, during training camp, you have no choice but to form relationships with the guys you're around. And then when you do, you build on that and you connect. And then that translates to on the field. And then when you go through the struggles on the field together, when you have to execute and win games. And when you don't win games, that's when you stick together. And Landon and I have stuck together through the last 2 years together. And it's been a blessing to have him.